Everybody, and welcome back. I'm Christo. This is the wonderful Twin Mountains of Dundor in Songs 6. Thank you for joining me. I haven't played for a little while, so I need to catch back up. What are we doing? We're upgrading these. We were thinking about getting a court as well. I saw someone say that courts are how you automate law, so maybe without the courts, that's why... Ooh, arrests? All right, 25% right now. It's practically impossible to have a 100% arrest rate. I've never actually looked. With the workload on here being 100%, does that mean like we need more of these? I'm unsure how law works. It's not an area I've really hugely engaged with. Anyway, we are massively increasing our technological output. We have our little itty-bitty gem mine functioning up here with its 7 workers. We have a very small amount of available workforce, and I am tempted to try and do a kind of efficiency drive. We've been using quite a lot of workers for stuff, it feels like, and perhaps I should try and work on reducing that somewhat, because endlessly letting in more people is no solution, because we will, their happiness will keep getting more and more difficult to manage. We do need rations. That's definitely on the agenda. What did it take to build courts? I think it's just... Yeah, gems are the main thing. We do need... what does it say they do? Improves justice, has a chance to free the prisoner after processing. Which reduces load on like your dungeons and things, I guess. Okay, so... if we were looking to free up some workers... Well, we should keep the game going here. Let me get my... let me get my spreadsheet open. We look like we're a little low on clothes. I think I just increased that though, didn't I? I think, right? We moved it over here. It really ought to be making plenty. Produced this year. That number is a little low. Consuming 100 cloth. Right, and yeah, obviously our massive investment of workers into the paper maker is a big source of our personnel problems since we have, well, let's get the actual numbers. We have 4 available workers right now. Yeah, we urgently need more. But yeah, we have working just on our paper makers, we have 72 people. And then when you add in the extra humans we have working in the libraries, we have another 76. So 150 people just dedicated to adding libraries. It was a big investment. Don't get me wrong. I am aware that it was a big investment. Now, food stocks wise, one way we could solve it is trying to increase our... we could get ration production going, right? But another thing we could do is get some more fishy boys. Now, the fishy boys down here are working quite a long way from home. They're not homeless, though. We do need to just let more people in, unfortunately. It's going to make the Dundorians a little unhappy. So we'll need to focus on... Oh my god, what's happened to government? Law is collapsing. What is the problem with law? We're just having not enough arrests being made? Are there... With only 13 odd jobbers, we have to have shortages of people, I imagine. So what's not being done that should be being done? Maybe it's because too many people are being training right now. Could that be part of it? I'm not sure. We have managed to get our security back positive with our big investments. Yeah, it looks like the only things that are actually not being done right now are our training, which shows up as a red bit of this bar here, but doesn't actually show up in the list. You can see here we've got, yeah. You can see this, these numbers don't actually add up to 1,040 out of 1,048. I think we need to let in a few more Dundorians. Let's let in a limited number, just 13 more. And now we need to... Yeah, law is a good 2 points. We could try and satisfy them more with that. We could also do a tiny bit of Scythian ore mining, which would let us upgrade this. We'd also have to do a bit of jewelry manufacture. That seems tough. I'm really looking for ways we can increase happiness without adding more workforce. Right now, they're only getting, yeah, that. I mean, a little bit more food. Yeah, I think more Almivus seems like a fairly good option. I might have to add more housing for them. Like if I wanted to add in another 25 fishy boys, because that would crank the number of fish we had available. It would give us, you know, the else we could do actually. Let's try and use tech to make our people happier here for a minute. Where could I mean, I could cut workers if I had more of some techs, which could be good. God, this is so cheap. Let's get a couple of the kind of really cheap techs. Like bread manufacture, I've already got a couple there, but yeah, a couple of bread specialization techs. Because there's no, I don't think there's any really big techs I want. I don't want to do barbers. The food nutrition tech seems really good. Yeah, let's do that twice more. It's a fairly big investment, but that's going to immediately give me full food days. If I update my nutrition tech, what did it go down to? 0.8? Nice. 0.8. There we go. So that dramatically cuts down on the amount of food that everyone needs to eat, which immediately gives them a nice happiness boost. What else could we do? We didn't actually build any pleasure rooms, I don't think. Massage parlors. I don't know how many of them you need per person. Good massage parlor. Relax your subjects and blow off some steam that would otherwise be directed at you. Yeah, that requires people, though. Let's focus on... What could I do? I mean, we could try temples. Those require you to sacrifice goods and things, though. Maybe a little bit more spoilage reduction and some maintenance reduction would be good. I never got even the basic levels of carpentry specialization. Let's get a bit more of that. And tailoring as well. We don't have very many tailors, though. And this, of course, increases the throughput requirements, which throws off all of my maths. Let's get the super cheap stuff, though. Still. Well, carry capacity is always good. What else? Right, so we don't have blood sport. Maybe we set up some blood sport. Where would that happen? Here, probably. And we need to reorganize constantly. You know, that's the situation. If we speed up now, what's happening with law? I mean, letting in loads of extra humans is hurting us on law, I think. But yeah, the arrests numbers are just really low. Let's get a court as the next thing we spend our gems on. I know I want to spend them on libraries as well. They're gonna be really valuable once we can put them into libraries. But oh, there's gems right here. Ah, that's funny. I completely missed that. Oh well. We do now have some free Dundorians, right? Yes. So we did need some more. What else could we do? Yeah, I mean, rations. We could do some really small scale rations. Just enough to get our asylums actually working. I don't know what the unavailable ration does. Like, it seems like they're being treated just fine here. But it might mean they're dying. I don't know. I don't know. The maintenance... What else we could do is we could be a little more deliberate in terms of making sure structures like this have stone walls. Because the Dundorians working them will prefer that. These guys like there. Oh no, that's right. We established Almevans don't like mud walls, didn't we? So you are probably pretty mad about your building. No, you like it. Hang on. Which way? Didn't we check and we established you guys don't actually like mud buildings? No, you do like mud buildings. Okay, so why are these made out of stone? Sorry, because this is the Dundorian part of the settlement. Because I had to try and cram in some extra guys here for all these transporters and guards and merchants and things. Which, you know what? Should be living over here, shouldn't you? Yeah, here's a way to make people happier without using any resources. Cut me a Dundorian housing area into this mountain. And then we'll take all these houses and we'll put them under here as well, instead, rather. And then this is a bricked road, that's fine, but the main bridge, main highway, needs to be a highway so that people can... The Dundorians going to and fro can be a little bit faster. Which probably means this should be... Yeah, because this is going to be mostly Dundorian use, isn't it? Let's do that. Oh, sorry, I'm making this paved road. Nuts. I meant to make it highway. It was still converting. Good. This connection. And actually, I mean, a lot of people walk this way, don't they? Let's encircle this with a highway. Like so. Just so that people have slightly better connections. Yeah, wasted quite a bit of manpower doing that. But yeah, we'll make all the bridges highways. Just so that people can come and go really nice and quickly. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Now, they don't need to go down here that much, so I'm content to not spend the more expensive roads on that for now. But then, yeah, highwaying in here. And remember, we have the higher level of house upgrades, so we can go up to 18 people per house now. So we will set some of these in here. Speed up time while that gets achieved. And yes, getting the other way we could potentially save manpower would be if we actually had some more presence on the world map. You know, if we started branching out, saying like, hey, little guy next to me, you don't like me. I accept that, but would you like to unite with me? You'd need 16 million stuff. What's my wealth right now? Is there an easy way to see that? Total wealth? Is it just here? No, this just shows total stored. Can I see it here? No, it's just number of items stored. Well, let's see then. I mean, 16 million, that does sound like a lot, doesn't it? But if you wanted to unite with me peacefully, if I were offering you resources, some of these finished goods, we're looking at numbers of thousands, relatively low numbers of thousands. So that's not a viable yet. They don't value these. Oh, there we go. 100,000 for that. All our weapons. Do we have 120? Ooh, we have a lot of weapons right now. I guess that's all of the tech upgrades on our army. So maybe you should be you're already fully kitted, actually. Okay. Yeah, maybe we go out there with force then, because I mean, we could take those areas by force. We need admin set up though. So the archery range is fully set. We should probably try and keep them happy at the archery range. Get some emitters. Some might call them trees. Some harmony emitters going around there. Seems good. Housing down there. And with the less food being eaten, we expect to see our stocks fairly dramatically rise. Yeah, law's still not looking great. What was the minimum? We were thinking of putting a court here, weren't we? Although it should really be down here near the dungeon. Yeah, I'll put it here, and I think these need to move probably over here or up here maybe, but let's get it done. It's not beautiful, but we need a court. So to put a court in, it needs to be a touch bigger. Sorry, but don't interrupt the 3x3, or rather, 3 wide. Needs to be. Let's just make it really big and then make it work. So I think that's I think the dock is at the top and the judge is at the bottom. 20 diamonds it will take to make that work. Okay. Yeah, apart from that, yeah, just as we have a lot of humans right now, and they're loving life. But as we move away from having this density of humans in the settlement, it will help. which will naturally happen because I'm not intending to expand our tech operations in the near future. We should keep an eye on things like paper production. It is trending up by about, call it 10, which is this one. Let's cut a couple of paper makers. We really need to be trying to use our workforce effectively. Another way we could try and create some happiness, I suppose, would be mushrooms. They do like their mushrooms. And of course, drink rations. Up to 2.5 points. That does seem really good. I think, but the problem is, of course, drink rations costs personnel. How are you feeling about your environment, Dundorians? Maybe I could have a go at your environment. Not noisy enough for you. Roundness. Dundorians are experiencing quite a lot of roundness. This obviously is one roundness area. As is this. Yeah, that's a fair amount. God, oh, and this warehouse being shaped like that is pretty bad for it. Yeah, we should, I'm not going to do it all at once, I don't think, but here's somewhere I can do it relatively quickly. Let's just throw a quick stone wall there. And pave a little extra. Yeah, and obviously the Dundorians are having to interact with the Elvish settlement. Moving the Elvish settlement is definitely on my agenda. This roundness doesn't matter much. This... fair amount of Dundorians are going to be around these parts. I don't think I can get rid of this roundness. I could diminish it by putting a wall there. Someone would come along and build this for me. We really don't have... oh, that actually gets rid of it entirely. Okay, nice. We'll do that. And I actually might be able to do something similar here. Like that. We'll want a little bit of extra roads just so that people are less liable to bump into each other. That doesn't quite work, unfortunately, because this counts. What if I renovate it? It's going to get rid of its pulls. That's annoying, but I am going to do it. We need to be trying to get rid of this darn roundness. So do that. Does it get rid of its pulls? I forget. It renames it, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, that got rid of them. Keep the game sped up here. Food days collapsed. Oh, of course. This is the food warehouse. Yes, so it gets rid of some things. This is Food Central. Which I hope is still being pulled from. Let's see. Dwarf Warehouse. Still pulling from Food Central. Good, it's just that it's not pulling. Okay. Now, Food Central should be pulling from Fish North, which is there. Where else? Here. Right, Fruitwood Ranch. That gets it fish and fruit and meat. It's just missing bread, which it gets from across the road. Good. Now this, yes, I mean, it's hard to deal with because it's a mountain. But I think there's a lot of dwarves coming and going in this area. So really, I think we do need to redesign this. Are we short on grain? We do appear to be barely holding steady on only 2,000 grain stored. I'll give that another couple of points of tech. We've got the full level of... no, we don't. Okay. Let's get this all the way up to the top. Hybrid optimization. What does it need? 1 point of it or 2 levels of this? Industrial crop optimization. It's straight 10%. Grab that. And then this is another 10% bony for 700. Okay. With that, we really ought to be... these are very cheap. Get some vegetables going too. With that, we really ought to be in good shape on crop manufacture for now. Yeah, I'm going to remove bread. It just pulls from processing metal to get its coal. The other stuff is being delivered here though, but that's okay. I can manually do that. Yeah. Cut this. Cut down the side of the mountain. We will make it square for them. Don't want the Dundorians to have to experience the curse that is round buildings. Got a warehouse construction. Be nice and simple and nice and square. boxes thusly. It really doesn't need much storage, much room for storage, that is, especially if I upgrade it. We'll put the door directly opposite here. Another door at that side where the grain can come in. And a door at that side where people can come and go and use it as a way to get in here as well. Yeah, that edge now looks a little janky. Don't get me wrong. If we put a pillar in there, maybe that'll help. The pillars don't really obscure it though. How about some lighting? Not that this whole place is not that well lit actually as well. Now I look. About in this corner. Can't get 2 by 1, can I? Let's put a little bit more lighting in some of these corners. Try and get people a bit happier that way. Maybe set into this corner or set into the throne room. Does the isolation of the throne room matter? It probably doesn't. The light of the throne burning out the back. It's kind of thematically cool. Yeah, I think we'll put it there. That really, people go to the food market a fair amount, so. And I bet this asylum can handle one torch tucked into its corner like that. Okay, so this is bread. It pulls from here. No, sorry, from here. Processing metal. I haven't told it what it wants. Right, coal, grain, and bread. Also employ 2 upgrades so it can hold plenty. 500 grain, 500 coal, 500 bread. So 500 grain rather. Actually, let's put more grain in here. Not much reason not to. Now, we need to make the grain transports. Just this one. Bounty harvest, fine. Push destination. Push target. Targeting bread. Does it target a tile? Such that even when you rebuild it, it still targets it? That's cool. I didn't know that. Let's try putting a little column and then 3 things around it, just to try and make this edge of the mountain look a little bit less janky. And then some good... These areas are still very highly trafficked. We should have highways here, basically. Anywhere that's really highly trafficked. Because then, you know, the faster people are able to move around, the more time they spend working. And there's a lot of people coming and going up here. So these streets can be done. And then, yeah, just blanket this area, I guess. That's a doorway, so that should definitely be accommodated. Likewise. Good. Piles of fabric just lying around here, still haven't been used. Okay. Yes, I'm going to do this for a while, I think. We're going to just try and make touch-ups, basically. We don't need to overhaul anything right now. We're just waiting on diamonds and touching things up just to make everyone a bit happier. Look at that. Already made a huge difference. Now your other stat is not that bad. That's kind of surprising, that managing to be so high. But hey, I won't question it. In terms of road preference... Just basically the more highways they can get, the better. Oh no, sorry, they would prefer plazas. Technically, highways only get them to 80%. Now, are there any other places where human and dwarf focused plazas would fit nicely? I kind of like the tiered edges to plazas. Let's do a little bit more of that there. Then this looks a little jank. Let's even that up somewhat. The ore emittance I like as well. The load on this well is 100%. Allegedly. Available services seem... Ah, okay, there we go. There are some times of day where they do get pretty low. Well, let's put in another small one across the way from it. Make sure that we keep the dwarves nicely... The water nicely accessible to the dwarves, that is to say. Yeah, with this few odd jobbers, it really takes a while for things to get done. I'm really noticing that it takes quite a bit of time for stuff to happen. get 2 upgrades on that. Okay, and then this should be paved, really. Okay, yeah, so what I'm thinking is we do a bunch of kind of environmental adjustments. That looks pretty cool. I like that. We do a bunch of environmental adjustments to try and make the place more amenable. And then what we're going to do... Oh, I'm an idiot. Are they going to emit roundness? No, they're not. Okay, good. The asylum still does, though. What I'm going to do is, yeah, a bunch... Oh, this makes it emit roundness, though. A bunch of environmental adjustments, trying to make everybody happier without having to use more workforce. Then I'm going to move the tilapis, because the tilapis is the second least happy bunch of peeps here. Asylum, you need your wall back, and cut this, because this is causing roundness. And cut this as well, actually. Leave a little jank area, but you're temporary anyway. Let's get that done, and then I think just by doing that we should already have cut down the roundness. Yeah, there's still some internally here. So actually, we can just expand the bakery to include that bit and that bit. And there we go. Now it does need fixing up. Hang on, let's cancel this. Did I actually cut? No, it's just auxiliary ovens that I cut by making this change. Okay. So we will put them straight back. Is my storage still here? I think my storage got removed from this wall. We'll put it like that. Seems good. That rooms make it more expensive. Ah, yes. Difficult to see, but that is the case. So we'll just cut 4 here. Shouldn't cause any roundness, I don't think. It's not enough, though. If I cut like this, it's not round. It's hard to tell ahead of time what's going to be... That will be round, I think. So I have to cut that tile. I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe if I... Because that should be 2 tiles across, 1 in, and then a bunch across. I think that's okay. I think it's... Well, there's... Easiest way to find out. Let's just experiment. Get that built as soon as you can. Ooh, odd jobbers. Oh, right, yeah. Because they're not baking right now. They've all turned into odd jobbers. Okay, getting that done. I think this might still create roundness, but we'll see. This tile here is what I'm worried about. Are you stuck? Yes. Damn it. Alright, fine. We'll move the asylum. Remove the asylum. And I need a non-highway tile. There we go. And dig into the mountain here. Like that. Why are you still stuck? Because now there's a stone wall here. Remove that. No, sorry. That bit. Don't remove that bit. You free? I think they're free. Yes. Now the asylum up here seems like a kind of okay spot for it. Near the jail. Kind of sends the wrong message. I think that is what we're going to do because it fits my spatial needs right now. Don't create any roundness. Bakery construction still not done. Oh, just because that extra tile needed digging, which is slowing it down. Okay. Now it's back up. How much bread should we be eating a day? 140? Theoretically producing massively more than that. Wow. That's kind of insanely more than that. We'll see if our bread caps out. I suspect it will. Okay, no roundness being generated in here anymore. That's good. And are you properly isolated? Not quite enough on that, but not devastatingly so. Okay, I think that's fine. Does you still technically have to be reconstructed after I do that, but oh well. Okay, back online. Okay, good. Now there's some walls here, which we do not need. Let's cut them. And there's some walls here that could be put back. because their absence gains little, as does that. Deceives me as to where this road should be, in fact. Now we have some room here. I guess we can use that to increase the food stalls. Where's our market, by the way? Here it is. Yeah, I was going to say, surely you're at 100% load. And having more workers here I don't think helps. So let's just copy the market and throw it up here. And spruce up its threshold a little. Because more workers just helps it have more stuff, but the actual services available, I think, comes from like spots available, basically. Like the number of places you can actually utilize the market from. Is it on auto-employ? No. If I auto-employ, yeah, so I mean workload is low, so that proves that I'm right. Good. Okay, this place, yeah, already upgraded, and it copied the same settings. Good. 23 gems, you know what that means? First off, I want to build my asylum again. Build it in here. It can be a dead end, I suppose. It doesn't need to much more than that. And then we do need ideally to fit as many cells in here as we can. Can I? No. Leave a little room around the edges. Like this. Does it not have walls? Oh, there we go. Okay. I was a little confused why the walls didn't seem to be working. Isolation, 97%. Ah, because I've built it up against this, rather. Easily fixed. Yeah, but now I can't fit this cell in anymore. What about if I do this and this? There we go. Good. This requires 2 wards, but gives us a little bit more future-proofing. No, it doesn't need this bit, really, does it? Move the door down a bit. Good. We should pave this road. Good. But the reason I was excited about the gems is we can now have a court, which I think right by the jail and near the stockade seems like the appropriate place. Just make it way too big. If I can build it. We definitely only afford 1 right now. And I'll put it, yeah, right next to the, like in line with the road. Seems good. And we want the equivalent, whatever gives us, 100 spectators, I think is sensible. Up to 45% of the expected spectators. With that, all right, we'll go a bit wider then. 25, 25, 25, and then this needs to be all 1 tile further down. Yeah. So cut this. Sorry, no, keep it cut back. Take the court out. Can the court be against the back wall? We can. Good. And then we can put like this and this to give us a nice 100% spectators. Now you shouldn't need that wall. You do though. You need to be a little bit further out, which provides problems. So maybe I can be a little clever with my spectators, like doubling. Stop showing me the bountiful harvest pop-ups. I really feel like this game is slightly poorly served by its pop-ups. They're not the genius kind of well-implemented system that many other parts of it are. All right, we're going to need to have some support, sadly. Like this, I think. And then some spectators off to the side. And in the front. Yeah, it's really not ideal. Visually speaking. But now we only need 15 more. Down this side. But like, yeah, how do I... Tricksy. Well, let's put the court in. And the court can't be against the wall, right? No. So knowing that the court has to be there. Alright, let's not worry about the aesthetics of it too much then. There's going to be a... We'll have the spectators sitting sideways. There you go. That works. It's weird, but it works. There you go. Yeah, and that works fine, I think. You're, you're sitting one in front of the other. A very normal way to set up aisles. Plenty of doors. Yeah, grandstone, not that it will use any. Now we have a tiny bit of room here for a 2-wide building. I guess I'll put a janitor there, maybe, in the fullness of time. But let's see what this... I mean, law has already gone back up to 100. Just because... What? What's changed? Is it, if I pause it, do these... There we go. Is it just arrests going up? Or was it just that there were less crimes? Like, yeah, there haven't been any crimes for a couple of days? For some reason? So people died in an accident and the criminals took a day off? I don't know. I'll use the 25 gems for that, and then obviously the other gems will go straight into the library. At which point I'll need to rework my library formula, because the gain per person is much higher now. Well, need to. I'll want to. Now stone is going down because we have no stone manufacture. Because no one is mining. Okay, what's the ore situation? We should be producing less than we need. But we aren't because the metal smithies aren't actually working at full efficiency. Maybe I will go and try installing that mod that makes these numbers more accurate. Because these are based on theoretical, everyone is constantly working at 100% workload numbers, I think. Court's being built. Oh, that does look pretty cool with the torches. Is it working? Yes, with one judge. He's got one client. He is judging. So do they come from jail or do or come from the stockade? The clients. Not sure. Does that actually... Like, what need does that fulfill? Or is it just the service need? Judges. Is it in here or is it government? There we go. Judging. People love it when people are judged. Okay, good. They like a bit of pardoning as well. Let's do some pardoning. Sure, why not? How do I do that? Oh no, that's you just pardon them. The judges sometimes pardon them. And that will fill up the pardon bar, I think. Makes sense. People really... They like it a little bit when tourists don't like it. And they really don't like having tourists they don't like. Okay. Yeah, I will pave the court street. And I think this whole area could do with some paving. There's a lot of people that go to and fro up and down here, so. Grain's still not managing to be full, even though it reckons it's producing vastly more than is needed. Is that just because... Why? So yeah, why is there... Okay, there's grain here. And there's no grain here. No resources have been selected. Pull from processing metal. The coal. There's coal here. What's going on? There we go. Pull the coal from there. Now, why are you... Okay, it still says it's sending it to grain, but it's just wrong. Or it just needed refreshing. Okay. Now he's doing it. He's grabbing the stuff. He's about to head off. I think, right? We'll see him arrive in a minute. There's no grain here. Or maybe all his grain just rotted. So remove this and reset it. Send the grain there. Nothing to fetch in the vicinity. Because I've just reset it, or because he just did it? Right, he's fetching it up. Organized. There we go. Transporting. Okay. We might need more of these guys to actually keep this stocked. Okay, so that's why we have less grain than we should. Because this is not being stocked, which means probably our bakers... Yeah, look at them. They're running all the way across the river to get grain. That's a problem. Alright, here comes the grain delivery, though. That was kind of in time. Like, the amount of grain here is not 0. Yeah, how can I tell the... I don't know how to tell the throughput of a transport. I guess is my problem. Number here is still not hitting 0. Are you guys still going across the river to get grain? No, it looks like he's managing. Relatively narrowly, but the grain number here is rising. And obviously it's getting its coal. Yeah, okay, I think that's working, good. So now the grain number should tend towards 1,000. And if it's at 2,000, that's useful, because that tells us, probably, there's grain at Pickerton Produce, but it's not making it to the grain warehouse. To the bread warehouse. Cool, okay, good to know, good to know. Now, lighting. We're still not fully lighting this area. Let's see what we can do about that. A light on the corner of the... Maybe just in the center of the road's fine. We have room either side of it. But yeah, dwarves like their lighting, so let's keep this place lit. Right at the junction. Seems good. Some pavements around it though. And there's some space here, so let's make use of it. Use a certain amount of iron. Yeah, stone is still a problem. The Garthimries are happy. Let's let in another 25 Garthimries. Who will, in the fullness of time, decide themselves to go work here. Good. So now we're making 57 stone, which is not enough. Is there tech for that? Almost certainly, right? Yeah. It's pretty cheap. 10% bonus. Get a couple of those. Should get some of these in general. Get one more. Well, let me not have as many total Garthimries. Now, we shouldn't really be using that much for masonries, because a lot of the time our cut stone storage should be full. So I think this is an okay balance. And have they really... They have, actually. Apart from stone that's not accessible, most of the stone has actually been picked up off the floor. That's why this suddenly started rearing its head. How much do we need for the next library upgrade, by the way? It's 20 something? Yeah, 24. Okay. Right, so we were building down here. Some longhouses. Chunk. Good. Then we'll tear these old ones down. And it looks like there are more Almevans who would rather live near here. I guess it's 3 of these guys, isn't it? Let's build across here. Can they walk on? Or maybe I should renovate this. Shrink that bit. There's still 2 workers. So I can build this connection here. And maybe also here. Big fishery though. Harder to do. I think it's okay. Take this slightly convoluted route. Alright. Designations. Oh, there's elves living down here because of course they're working this archery range. Maybe a elvish longhouse like here. Yeah, that works. Just for those currently working in the archery range. I think that's okay. But this is Dundorian land here. Right, and we are going to have to cut into the back here in order to repair some of that situation. Why is this showing as paved? Oh, I paved it under the mountain? What? Not quite sure how that works. Anyway, house upgrade. This lot twice. And then we'll cut the Dundorian housing from around here. And move it all underground. Because that will make them happier. They'll be a little bit further from their work, but it's the price I am willing to pay. Okay, any others? Don't think so. Good. This guard post, covering this area relatively well. No guards covering the archery range. Prime place to commit some clandestine murders, I guess. Still making slightly more paper than we need. Not by much. That's okay. Okay, fresh Dundorian housing should be lit. Do the unevens care about lighting, by the way? They do. So we should really be providing them some. Let's put a big lighting thing here, just so you come out. Whenever you come and go from your home, you go through it, and then you guys should have some, yeah, central lighting, maybe here, and then also here. Get both halves of this area lit up. Good. Now this janitor could do with a move. Because it's Dundorians that work janitors, so let's move it underground. Need to do some more digging. Let's just take out, and no roundness. Take out a large section of this so that we can use the space as needed. But yeah, if some of this service industry stuff can move under the mountain, I'll make them happier. This lavatory is at capacity. Is this exactly the right size for one employee? It is. Still do with doubling it up, perhaps. No, that's still only one employee. Okay, good. And still 100% basins. Okay, don't need to change it as much as I thought. Good. Let's just double that up. Okay, so janitor. Can't easily copy that because it's got walls. That's fine. We'll move it down here. Leaving room for a road, maybe? Or like, yeah. Put it here. I forget what we established the kind of minimum janitor size was. Maybe something like, yeah. Close enough, close enough. Just both sides, give me that. And proper highways for our Dundorian janitorial force. And this, yeah, we could even move fish south under here if we wanted. But they'd have a longer walk. I think we'll leave the fish south stuff up here. Yeah, you auto-employing, good, which means I can now remove this. Extend this brick road. Who prefers brick roads, by the way? Just evens. Okay. That's fine though. Just keep it like this. Not much lighting over here. Put a torch down. Okay. Now, Dundorians. Well, hang on, let me just check the roundness situation down here. Yeah, not anywhere where the Dundorians have to work, it looks like. Good. Excuse me. Okay, what else can I do for you? Climate, not much I can do about that. Building, they're pretty thrilled. More of them moving underground. Yeah, they could still do better on road preference and roundness. Still experiencing more roundness than they'd like. The problem is we have Dundorians living everywhere, so it's going to be very difficult to ever get roundness perfect. So we won't worry about that too much. We've done what we can on that. How about law? How you feeling? No one's being pardoned. Prisons can be pardoned manually. Okay. Well, we're not going to manually pardon people. I mean, that seems like a lot of work. I'd have to like individually go through and say like, hey, this guy, human prisoner, pardon him. And now someone comes and lets him out. And they go like, yay, pardons. How often do you have to do that? That seems like, I'm baffled as to why that is a system, to be honest. Curfew. Okay. Interesting. Prevents disease being spread. Does anyone want any other punishments that we're not currently doing? They're a fan of the fact that more people are being imprisoned. They like the judging. They dislike stocking, but it's okay. Everyone likes the fact that we just pardon someone. And basically, yeah, Dundorians, fishy boys, elves, Garthimeries and humans are all of a like mind about what you should be doing. You should be executing 12%. Okay, we can actually reduce the number we're executing. You should be executing 12% to keep them happy. And then you should be judging everybody. Stocking 20%, which I assume is the same on everyone. Yeah, so you want to be stocking at least 20% of your criminals. And pardoning 10% of your criminals. Okay, I mean, we could try and keep that pardon number up, but I'm not in the business of getting stuff done manually. So how are we actually doing it in terms of punishments? Because they also like attending the scaffolds, I think. Yeah, set the target rate. What was it, 20%? And anyone not in there should be, going to jail. Average of 4 years. It's a long time. Maybe you should also send some to the arena. Let's get a fighting pit set up. Right next to the courts. That seems good. Entertainment. A fight pit. Yeah, baby. Everyone loves it, apparently. No, everyone loves working there. Okay. Whoa, okay. It has a fixed size. Cool. A fight pit in the center of town. It wouldn't take that much reworking to be able to have a fight pit in the center of town. I think what we should do now is move the Talapi settlement. And where are we going to put it? I mean, I don't want to go too far from the river. Maybe we should go north with it. You know what? That's not a bad idea, actually. The elves spread south. Sorry, the fish spread south. Elves spread north. I think that's the right play. I was thinking about down here. The problem is this area is, there's no water here. So the fertility is lower. It's kind of 80%, 60%. Whereas if we can keep them farming vegetables along the banks of the river up here, that would be good. So yeah, I think we're going to move them up here. And because that frees up a huge area of space here to be a kind of new town center space, basically. And then this can be human. Our next human settlement can be here. We can have more dwarven housing and working in this mountain, and we can put things like blood sports right here. Okay, I think that makes sense. But we'll do that in the next episode. I think in the next episode, the Great Elfish Migration North. It'll also make the elves happier because I'll rework it such that they have more inherent services, and we'll probably make it. We'll try and build a settlement to happily accommodate, I don't know, 150 elves or something, slightly increase that number, so that we have some room to grow in terms of woodcutting and things. But all that and more in the next episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.